The one thing I wanted to make sure got shown, just in terms of the nuts and bolts, at its heart, it deals with ID, and we've been showing ID that looks like this kind of thing here, right? So one reasonable question is, it's pretty. Can we make custom ID for our school? And how do you handle stuff like ASB membership, where it might change? You know, if you have seniors who have a different design for their card. One thing I want to make sure gets mentioned and underlined here is that when you go into the essentials area and say, I want to think about designs, we have a catalog of designs and backgrounds, and you can upload your own. The interesting thing is over here under variations, where organization ID might be the difference between a student or staff ID. You saw earlier the admissible, somebody was okay or was not. So let's just take a look at mechanically how that worked. It changed. If you remember, I said that Calvin was inaccessible and he went from yes to no. That's because we are looking at a field called admissible in person, always. And when Calvin is showing his ID and we make a change in his data to say his admissible in person is false, then we show this design. And if you look at the way student and staff cards work, they're both organization ID. But what I would point out is if you wanted to have a special card if you're an ASB member, then if I duplicate this one and say we now have a new type of card which is based on not just your role, staff or student, but ASB membership. So student no means you get a regular student card, and student yes means that you are now an ASB member. So it's quite flexible. I don't need to go into too much detail here, just enough to say if you wanted to have seniors have special cards, or ASB members, or you wanted to do lunch passes or whatever, go ahead, knock yourself out. There's very, very simple editing.
Is there a limitation to the number of cards that you can have in each category?
Nope.
So a high school that wanted their athletes to have a card so the teachers would know to release them at a certain time on a given day, they can have a special card for that.
A certain time on a given day.
Well, no. They would have their bulletin that would announce the time that they release the football team. They're traveling today, release them at 12:30. So they would have an athletic card or a football card, digital card that, hey, I'm on the team, coach or teacher.
Yeah, it would be, you can add whatever information you would like. For example, under custom, it sounds like that would be something that we didn't foresee, but you would just stick it under a custom field and then switch based on it, and it would do the right thing. And changes that you make here would be pushed out live. People's phones would update on the fly.
That would work in a situation where a hybrid model where student A group comes on one day and student B group comes on another day.
Yes, that was an excellent point that was made earlier. Right, even, odd, and you're going to have weird rules like last name or grade or whatever it is, which produces people who are in a group. And yeah, you just have red cards, green cards, blue cards, and students hold up their card, and if it's blue and it's supposed to be green, you're not allowed in today.
Hey,
Right.
Michael, in your editing process, can you change the size of that image node, or is that the best size you're going to get out of that?
Absolutely. This is simple editing, like picking a different background for it. So if I chose to have it look like brushed metal, but you were looking for a fairly fine grained thing. So to do that, you would hit Edit in Vecta, which is a partner company of ours, which is a fully online. Again, there's never anything installed. That's important to say. They're basically taking the design, which is quite abstract. It says student name goes here, QR code, barcode. It's all made of pieces. And if I were to make a change, like for example, I'll just swap these, and you were, I think, asking about changing the font or something like that. So you can do anything you like. I'll just hit publish the drawing. And who's got a student? I think Corey is now a staff member. Who's got a student card on their phone?
I do.
Stephanie's a student.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Stephanie, you got your phone handy?
Yep.
Push your ID card.
Okay.
Select digital ID.
Yep, the school ID at the top.
Okay.
And hold it up to your camera. Does it look?
Can you guys
Did
see
it
that? Okay.
modify?
Right, can you go closer? You should be reloading.
Just right, and now aim a little bit over to your camera, lift it up a little bit, over, other way, sorry. That way, right? And then kind of angle your phone, there we go, down so we can see your screen. It's updating now, up a little bit.
You're killing me.
I know. There you go.
It updates.
Angle the top of your phone towards your camera a little bit to get rid of the glare. I'm sorry.
It's still loading.
Moving on. Okay. Never
So
mind.
at the end
It's
of
a-
the day, we have virtually unlimited edit capability for the elements on the card, correct?
Yeah, you can knock yourself out. You can add a district
Very
logo. You can put your own whatever. Absolutely.
Okay.
I have
This-
before you go on, the one thing that really stands out to me on that card is that QR code. Does that have to be that big and right in the middle of the card?
You want it to be, yeah. And that's actually a really nice segue to the next demo. Remember, you went and scanned with the entrance scanner. You all pretended you were greeters and you're scanning cards one after the other. If the QR code is small, then a phone needs to be held close to it and it gets out of focus on an older phone that doesn't have autofocus and the QR code doesn't read well. So yeah, you do want it big. But
All
the
right.
payoff for
That's
having the QR code so visibly displayed so that it's just readable like that is that any device can read it. Any device like a tablet, which has been duct taped to the entrance of a school bus, and kids go like this, and the QR code is scanned by the tablet on the way onto the bus, and the kid is now registered as being on the bus. The implications of having a QR code that can be read by anything, which is hooked to a live database, which is always on, they're huge. So yeah, there is a trade-off. You do need to have that code be big enough to read, but the payoff is totally worth it.
And I'm going to jump in and add that this works on any Android as well as an Apple, and you don't need a QR reader anymore. You just open your camera.
Quite right.